Parsnips and Persimmons, adventures in ingredients. Hello and welcome back to Parsnips and Persimmons, adventures in ingredients. So I hoped to do persimmons for you on our second video, but I could not find the different kinds of persimmons I wanted to show you. I kept finding one and then I couldn't find the other, and then once I was done eating those, I found the other one and then I couldn't find the other one. So, and I want to bring you things that are always in season, of course. So we'll have to wait a little while for persimmons, but I brought you another winter root vegetable, like our parsnips last time. This is kind of the ugly duckling of vegetables. Look at this thing. This is celery root, or celeriac. It has two names. This is not the root of the kind of celery that we eat regularly. This is a hefty vegetable here, and you've probably seen it in the market, but wasn't sure exactly what it was or what to do with it. I'll tell you, I don't love celery in general. I like it chopped up in things. I like it in tuna salad or in stuffing or, things like that. But like munching on celery, to me, the stringiness and that kind of bitter taste it has, I don't love it. This I love. It gives you a little bit of the celery flavor, but with a real earthy, different kind of taste. You definitely get the celery, but it's sort of mixed with a real big earthiness that's really, really nice. What to do with this? First of all, pretty obviously, you got to peel it, okay? Sometimes you'll see very knobby ones with all kinds of crevices. You just got to get in there and get those cleaned out and cut away. I'm just going to show you, for now, the inside. It's beautiful. It's just pure white inside with, there's a little other beige color marbled around in there. But it's, you can eat this whole thing. What do you do with it? Well, you can do a lot with it. It's good cooked or raw. Unlike the parsnip, which raw, it doesn't really work. But this you can eat cooked or raw. I'll tell you a little story. When I was visiting Belgium a few years ago, I had mashed potatoes in a restaurant in Ghent, which is a wonderful city if you ever get the chance to go there. So I was eating these mashed potatoes and I'm like, what is in these? They were the best mashed potatoes I've ever tasted in my life. And it turns out the owner who was serving me also was sort of sitting back there watching me eat them and could see that I was enjoying them. And they came over and I said, what is in these mashed potatoes? These just are the most aromatic and savory, delicious mashed potatoes. She was asking me to guess, and I couldn't guess at first. And then I was told celery root mixed in with the potatoes. And now I do it every time I make mashed potatoes because it's so good. You can just cut these into cubes and boil them. They'll cook a little faster than potatoes. They're not quite as hard. They're close to the same. But you just want to check them. They might not cook exactly the same time as mashed potatoes, so you might want to do it separately. But get them nice and soft and puree them with the potatoes. I'd say you could do up to a third celery root and then 2/3 potatoes. You could go up that high or even higher. Or you can make a puree of this all on its own without the potato. It makes a lovely puree or soup, a really good cream soup. Again, it can be roasted. It can be put into stews. And then famously, There's a salad that is made in France called celery, celeriac remoulade. And so it's this julienne, you could also shred it, and mixed with mayonnaise and other ingredients, some herbs and different things, mustard, lemon, and it makes a really nice kind of crunchy salad because raw, this is on the crunchy side. So that's a delicious thing you can make very quickly and easily anytime you see this. So this is, you'll find this pretty much anywhere. I've seen it in the United States, in a lot of places. Here in Europe, you see it a lot. Not so sure about, the more Mediterranean countries, if they would have it. It's probably a little more of a northern thing, but you might find it there too. But I would get it. You want to get a nice firm one. If it's spongy or squishy, it's old. Okay, so you want to get a nice firm celeriac, okay? And peel it. Either cube it if you're going to cook it, or julienne or shred it if you're not, if you're going to eat it raw. And it's delicious, okay? I would love for you to try this because it's really an unsung vegetable that really needs to be utilized more. We are going to make a little salad, a celeriac and apple salad. It goes very nicely with apples. So we're going to start that. Okay. Hello. So we're back. And I am now going to make this really nice celeriac or celery root and apple salad. So you see we've got our peeled celery root. We're just going to go ahead and shred this. These are my old, I've had this thing for like 30 years or longer. We're going to just shred this right into the bowl. Okay, this will take a little while, so why don't I not bore you and come back. Okay. So you see I've got my shredded celery root. You can do this, of course, with a food processor, with the shredding disc, if you're not as old-fashioned as I am. Now we're going to take our apple, and we're going to cut this. You want a nice, firm, not completely sweet type of apple, something like a McIntosh or Braeburn that's got a mixture of tart and sweet. And we want to julienne this. So we're just going to cut this into sort of quarters. I kind of just cut around the core. That way I can nibble on that. Oh yeah, that's perfect. All right, then we're going to cut some thin, not too thin slices, because you want a julienne, which is kind of like matchsticks. And then you cut those into little matchstick slices like this. All right. So you see we get these very thin little julienne matchsticks. So we want to do our whole apple like that and add that to the celery root. Now you don't want the celery root to sit out too long without the dressing because it can oxidize, which means turn a little brown after it hits oxygen. So you want to work relatively fast, or you can squeeze a little lemon onto the celery root if you find that it's getting, these are all sticking to my knife, if it's starting to get a little brown. So I've got my julienne apples here. We're just going to toss that in with the celery root. Now the apples, of course, can oxidize as well, so you don't want those to sit too long either without the dressing. Again, you could squeeze a little lemon on them. Then we're going to make our dressing. Very simple. You can use yogurt, mayonnaise, sour cream. I wouldn't use just sour cream, but you can also use a mixture of them. I'm going to use a half a cup of mayonnaise and a half a cup of yogurt. Dump that into the bowl. And then the rest of these you can kind of do to your liking, but we're going to do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. It's a little like a coleslaw dressing. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. I've got this nice German mustard, which is similar to Dijon, but you can use any kind of sort of hot type of mustard, strong mustard. You could even use the whole grain mustard. I'm just about out of this stuff. Okay. Alrighty. And then we want some salt. About a half a teaspoon of salt. And some pepper. And I chopped up a couple tablespoons of parsley and just dump those in there. And this is it. These are everything you need. Now, you can make variations on this. You can add raisins or craisins. You can add walnuts to it for a nice crunch in there. I'm just going to whisk this up. So I've got all my dressing ingredients here. Whisking. So I'm going to taste this now. It's on our plate. It's nice and crunchy and fresh. And a little sweet from the apple, a little tangy from the vinegar and the yogurt and the mayo. It's nice. Yeah, very refreshing and perfect for a barbecue or as a side for like fish and chips, something different than coleslaw. Anyway, yeah, so I hope you go out and buy a celery root and experiment with it. Maybe make this recipe or something else. Put it with mashed potatoes, I'm telling you. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Parsnips and persimmons, adventures in ingredients.